In this video, you're going to learn how to solve one-step equations. Before we learn how to solve them, let's find out what an equation is. Please pause the video and take a minute to copy these notes down. Okay, an equation by definition is a mathematical sentence that contains an equal sign. To solve an equation, whether it's one-step, two-step, or multi-step, you're going to be using what's known as inverse operations. Inverse operations are operations that undo each other. In other words, inverse operations are opposites of each other. If you see an equation that has addition in it, to solve you're going to subtract. If you see an equation that has subtraction, to solve it you're going to add. If you see an equation with multiplication, to solve you're going to divide. If you see an equation with division in it, to solve you're going to multiply. Then we have a few other ones down here that you don't see very often in Algebra 1, but they are still considered inverse operations. If you see an equation with squared, to solve it you're going to take the square root. And if you see an equation with square roots in it, to solve you're going to square it. Let's take a look at a few examples. Number 1, we have x plus 6 equals 8. And I know you're thinking, I already know the answer is x equals 2. Even though you know the answer to this equation already, it's really important that you know how to use inverse operations on the simple problems because you're going to be using them in the ones that are more difficult. So even though you know the answer to this, I want to see your work. To do that, what I'm going to do is draw a line through my equal sign. This is just a preference that I have. I like to separate the left-hand side of my equation from the right-hand side of my equation. In other words, x plus 6 has the same value as the right-hand side of 8. And our goal in solving any equation is to get the variable all by itself on one side of the equation. Doesn't matter if the letter is on the left, if the letter is on the right, or later on we're going to see letters on both sides. So in this particular problem, my variable is on the left-hand side of the equation. So that means I'm doing all of my algebra to the left-hand side of this problem. I am not doing any algebra at all to the right-hand side of this problem. My goal is to get x by itself. That means I need to get rid of this 6. And to do that, I'm going to get it to hop the fence I drew, move it over to the right-hand side, and that's where our inverse operation comes into play. I see a plus sign here. Because this equation has addition in it, to solve it, I am going to subtract 6. Whatever I do to one side of my equation to keep the equation balanced, I need to do the exact same thing to the other side. That is what is our inverse operations. That's the work I need to see when you're doing these for homework. So now that I've subtracted a 6 on both sides, it's just math at this point. On the left, whenever we produce an inverse operation, whenever we do an inverse operation, they automatically cancel out. Positive 6, negative 6, they are gone. I am going to bring down the x because it's always good to bring down what we haven't used even though we're in the final step of this problem. And then on the right-hand side, I am just doing simple math. 8 minus 6 equals 2. And this is a one-step problem. I'm done, and my answer is 2. Now, what if your teacher said, prove it, check your work, and show me that you're checking your work? So what I would do to check my work, if I had to show the work, is I'm going to take the original equation and rewrite it. And then to prove that the answer is 2, I'm going to take my answer of 2, come down to my original equation, get rid of that x, plug in the 2, and then I am asking myself, does 2 plus 6, does that equal 8? It does, and my answer checks out. So it's really simple to check your answer by simply taking your answer, plugging it back into the original, and seeing if the left side does in fact equal the right. For our second example, negative 3 equals y minus 2. I am going to start by drawing a line through my equal sign to keep my left side separated from my right side. This time my variable is on the right. That means all the algebra is being done on the right-hand side, and I'm only going to be doing simple math on the left-hand side. So my goal is to get y by itself and keep it on the right. To do that, this 2 has got to go. I want to hop it over the fence, get rid of it on the right-hand side, and to do that, I'm going to do inverse operations. I see subtraction. That means I am adding. What do I want to get rid of? That 2. So I'm going to add a 2 on the right, And whatever I do to one side of the equation to keep it balanced, I need to do the exact same thing to the other side. My inverse operation is done. All I have left to do is some basic math. On the right-hand side, because I've done inverse operations, they automatically cancel. I don't even have to think about it, even though I know a negative 2 plus 2 is what makes it cancel. That equals 0. I'm going to bring down the y. And then all I have to do on the left is some basic math. Negative 3 plus 2 gives me a negative 1. So in one step, I'm done. I have an answer of negative 1 equals y. To check this, and again, I'm not going to rewrite the entire problem like I did the last time. I'm just going to go up to the original problem. I want to know, does negative 3, question mark, equal what I found for y, which was a negative 1, minus 2? Does negative 3 equal a negative 1 minus 2? It sure does. It checks out, and I know my answer is correct. Let's take a look at example number 3. 80 equals negative 4a. So again, I'm going to start by drawing a line through my equal sign. I'm working on the right-hand side of my equation because that's where my variable is. And in this problem, that is not subtraction. That is not a minus sign. That is a negative 4 times a. Remember, in algebra, you very rarely see a times sign between a number and a letter. When a number and a letter are smushed together like they are in this problem, this is a multiplication problem, which means to solve this, I'm going to be dividing. One other thing about algebra, we very rarely see this old-fashioned divide sign. This is a thing of the past. When we show division in an algebra problem, we're going to show it with a fraction bar. So I'm going to draw a fraction bar on the right-hand side. I'm going to draw a fraction bar on the left-hand side. I want not only the 4 to disappear, I want the negative to disappear as well. I need that to hop the fence and move to the left-hand side of the problem. And again, it's multiplication. So to get rid of this negative 4, I'm going to divide both sides by that negative 4. Don't forget the negative when we're dividing. It has to go as well. All right, so now that my inverse operations are done, on the right, they automatically cancel. Well, why this time when it's division? Well, because a negative 4 divided by a negative 4 becomes a positive 1, and then 1 times a is just going to stay a. You don't have to write the 1 in front. But remember, because we know we're doing inverse operations, we automatically know they're going to cancel. We don't even have to think about it. All we have to do now is just a basic math problem on the left-hand side. I know that when I'm dividing, a positive divided by a negative will always be a negative. And then 80 divided by 4 is 20. So if your teacher said, prove it, show me that you know it's the right answer, I'm going to go back to my original problem. I'm going to take out this a. In its place, I'm going to put the negative 20 that I got for an answer. And I'm asking, does a positive 80 equal a negative 4 times a negative 20? And in fact, it does, so I know my answer is correct. Let's take a look at our last problem. b over negative 7 equals a negative 20. This fraction, don't let it scare you, it just means division. So whenever you see a fraction in an algebra problem, you don't need to run screaming because, oh my gosh, it's fractions, I'm not good at them. It just means division. So I'm going to draw a line through my equal sign, again, to separate the left-hand side from the right-hand side. I see in this problem division, which means to solve this problem, I'm doing the opposite of dividing. I am multiplying. What am I multiplying by? Well, on the left, I want to keep the b, which means everything but the b, which is that negative 7, has got to go. It's got to be moved over to the other side. And again, my inverse operation, because I see division, I'm multiplying both sides by that negative 7. Again, I don't even have to think about it. Once those inverse operations are done, they automatically cancel, leaving me with b by itself on the left. And then all I have to do is basic math again on the right. I know that a negative times a negative, no matter what, is positive, and 20 times 7 is 140. So my final answer is b equals 140. Let's just take 2 seconds again to check to make sure our answer is correct. That's a cool tip to use on a test so that you know your answer's right. I'm going to go back up to my original. I'm going to cross off this b. In its place, I'm going to put the answer I got of 140. And now I'm asking, does 140 divided by a negative 7 equal a negative 20? And it does, it checks, so I know I'm right.